and you got some presents from Kalina and Melodora, some cool presents. You fought some tiny little undead monsters. Uh, Julia sent some messages to Michelle and then kind of left him hanging, did not respond after his final message when he asked who you were. You got back to Rexentrum, talked to Torkel and Expositor Kresh about, what you had experienced. You gave them the detailed report. And then the next day, Antimony and Adakora both checked their mail and found invitations to to Taito and Kassia's wedding, which you knew nothing about until you received the invitation. I think Antimony convinced Ophelia to go, right? You agreed to go.
Yeah, bribed with food.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, you guys had kind of wrestled with that for a while. And then Adakora had to go to his Augen Trust debriefing post what was not really supposed to be a mission, but ended up being sort of a mission. Um, so you talked to Amelia, gave her all the details, except for a couple of little things like Sahar and Evander's involvement in the actual attack. And then you talked to Hannelore a little bit about about some of the stuff she's been dealing with lately, which is the possibility that some members of the Myriad that she had a hand in screwing over in the past might be back in town. So she's keeping a lookout. Yeah. Yep.
It's all I've been thinking about.
And you also told her about the wedding, I think. So.
Yes.
And I think that's where we stopped. I think it's still that afternoon or evening if you guys want to do anything. After today, there's I think just 6 more days till the wedding. So, oh, and you also sent I think you paid to get like a fast message delivered to Druvenload to RSVP to your parents.
Yeah.
Because they sent this invitation a few weeks ago while you were in Besace Steel. But yeah, so I don't know if anybody has anything in particular they want to do in Rexentrum. And if you've thought about when you guys want to leave for Druvenload, how many days do you want to spend with the family?
Ophelia's like, we leave the same day, we come back that night.
Didn't they invite you guys for like days before too? They were like, come early.
Yep.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, we'd like to see you.
Yeah, it was
Yay.
it was pretty vague. They were like, yeah, show up whenever, basically. So, so yeah, you could go now, you could go in a couple days. It's kind of up to you guys. I just don't really have like anything exciting for you to do in Rexentrum.
Well, as far as things to do in Rexentrum, I think I go home that night and it's fine. And then the next morning I wake up and I'm like, nope, this is going to bother me. So I call Hannelore and ask if we can talk again.
Okay. thing that you didn't say last time?
Maybe.
Because I just
Um,
listened to the end of the last, like the end of the recording, because I wanted to remember where exactly we stopped, and there was like something where you were like, "Actually, I'm not gonna say." Okay.
maybe it's a different thing. You don't know.
I don't know. You're right. I don't know. Um. Okay. Nobody had anything they wanted to do um tonight. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I do think we'll probably reconvene about when we're gonna get there, but this I
Yep.
do first.
Yeah, and you do. I do need descriptions of what you're going to be wearing. So think about that. I'm going to force you to design your own fancy outfits.
Okay. Do you have like, since we're from Druvenlode, we know, or we've lived there for a long time at least, in my case. We
Oh
we
yeah.
have a general sense of like what the sense of style there is.
Yeah, I think it's fairly it's pretty similar to the capital, a little bit less fancy because the people there I think are sort of I read I read the section in the Gazetteer, the Wildmount Gazetteer about um Druvenlode, and there's some stuff about how like aesthetically things are kind of practical and simple, like the architecture. So I think the people there are a little bit like, oh, we're not we're not like so fancy like those people in the capital who only give a shit about fashion or whatever. Um,
Right.
so the decorations on the clothing are a little more subdued. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like, let's see, what kind of styles? It's probably more like solid colors, not so much embroidery, not a ton of like fur or lace or anything. Like they're probably like overdress, that's a color, and then like a plain, like a white or something underdress, stuff like that. Um, some layering, maybe like separate sleeves because those are kind of cool. Where the sleeve is kind of sewn on, or you can like see the sleeve poking out.
Okay.
I'll send you guys some pictures. I'm just like Googling shit right now. I should have thought about this more. Um, anyway, I don't know as much about like medieval-ish men's clothing, but kind of a similar principle. It's probably like shirt and then like slightly fancier tunic on top.
I'll wear women's clothing. It's fine.
You can also do that.
So that yeah, fancy pants.
Hey. Anyway,
But
yeah,
yeah,
and
I
like
I am expecting to reconvene with my sister and figure out
yes, and
when
it's
we're leaving and
yeah, and the
whether we're
dress
shopping here or
code.
there.
Yeah, the dress code for the wedding is like kind of indicated on the invitation. It's not like ballroom or whatever. It's just kind of like your nice clothes that you would wear to a dinner party or something level of fancy. So you don't have to get too crazy because
Mhm.
it's Taito and Kasia and they're like not trying to make too much of a fuss.
Yeah. This is middle-aged people who have been together forever,
Yeah,
as long as
exactly.
anybody can remember.
Yep.
They're putting all the money into the food, just so it feels
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's where.
they for sure are. The catering is gonna be so good at this wedding. Um,
But then you would not get to enjoy the catering.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the party too. Like they do want to have a party with the family. Also, I think Cassia thought it would be funny just because like her family was like, "Oh, Cassia's never getting married," you know? And then she got to tell her like 80 something parents like, "Hey, we're getting married." They were like, "Excuse me?" Anyway. Okay, so next morning, do you just call her like right away?
uh, yeah,
Okay, early in the morning. All right.
not like 4 a.m., but you
No,
know.
I know, like normal, like a time that a human would be awake.
Yeah, I mean, on the early side, but you know, she's got a
Okay.
job, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she answers right away. She's like yawning a little bit. Hey, what's going on?
uh, can we continue our conversation from last night? Not necessarily over the stone.
Oh, um, sure. You
All
have
right.
more to say?
I have an idea.
All right. Um, I do have to work a little bit today in the office. My I have a fake job just like you do. But I'll meet you for lunch. Just come
All
over to
right.
my apartment again, I guess. Is it private? Do you want to talk about it in
Yeah,
private?
that would work. That'll
Okay.
be fine.
Okay, I'll pick something up from the bakery.
Sorry, I was looking at the chat. Yeah, it's totally fake. It's totally 100% fake. It's a fake job.
Fake job. Oh no. Okay.
All
Okay.
right. No stress. Just an idea. Okay.
Does anybody have anything they want to do this morning in particular?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I
Let's
mean, you haven't seen me since we got the invitations because I
that's
skedaddled and you
true.
went to invite Ophelia. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so there's that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Ophelia, you wake up full of regret,
Yeah.
probably, at having
Regret and fear.
agreed to go to Intimity's parents' wedding.
Yeah. We just got away
But
from one family and now we're going to the next one.
right.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Yes. Luckily, you probably won't be there for a whole month or a whole 2 weeks with 2 weeks of travel on either side. But you might get to find out what Taito's best-selling books are. So there is
I
that.
know.
We just have to remind you of the selling points.
Yep.
But if I get it from the person himself, then like, what good is that? You know, the whole thing is in you guys telling me. Or me like weaseling it out of you. If he just gives it to me, then, you know.
You could pull books off the shelves and see if we make faces.
You'd
Just
make
when you've
faces
got in the
anyway.
house. You might uncover
That's
some
true.
clues. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to ask him outright.
Do a little snooping.
But yeah, I think maybe I try to find them for breakfast and see who's around and whether Ophelia has agreed to come or not, because I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Yep, you can find Ophelia whenever Ophelia usually eats breakfast.
I will sit down next to her and wait for her to complain about having agreed to go if she did.
I wasn't expecting this. I was waiting for you to go do your call or whatever. But, you know, you can
It's a lunchtime
if
game.
you really do we have to wait what's happening?
I'm just
You're-
sitting next to you,
Yeah.
waiting to see if you complain about having agreed to go to the wedding.
You're eating breakfast, and Atakora appears, as he often does.
Well, now I don't want to complain because you're expecting it.
You don't know what to do.
I
You don't know what I'm there for.
You have no idea. He hasn't said anything.
God, okay. You're going to the thing, right?
What thing?
What do you mean, what thing?
What thing?
The thing?
The thing? We just got back from something. What thing?
Is he being an asshole?
Roll an insight check.
Well, nine.
Are you
18.
okay? Yeah.
Did you
You
say
haven't-
18?
Yep.
All right, well,
Yeah, you have no idea. He's got that look on his face where it's like a grin, and it could mean that
It's just me.
he's telling the truth and thinks it's funny, or he's lying and thinks it's funny. Like it's like a poker face, except he's smiling. Like basically.
you're horrible. You're not supposed to talk to me until like 12, okay? We're off limits. Breakfast is off limits when we're not doing a job or when there's no other obligations.
I pour her more coffee.
I don't even like coffee. I mean, I'm pretty sure Antimony said that you were also going, so, you know, you might as well not be
Well,
a dick about it.
If Antimony said I'm going, I'm sure I am. I'll find my room full of cannons with legs. And that's not going to be fun to explain to my roommates.
Well, if they kill you, then you won't have to explain anything.
That's true. It's true. They're right on that edge, I think.
Which are?
My roommates. They're right. They're there. You
Oh, I
can push
meant
them
the-
over the edge.
I meant the tiny cannons.
Oh.
Are you saying the
I
cannons
think the
would just be
cannons are
there?
just to scare. No, they're just there to intimidate me.
I gotta tell Antimony to just finish the job if she goes that far, you know?
I don't know. Follow through's not her strong suit.
Well,
Are
you know, college is different. Not everybody is cut out for, you know, that.
you going to the thing?
What thing?
That's a good question.
nobody knows what the fuck the thing is, so I guess, nobody's going.
You
There's
did
my
ask for
obligations done. All right.
that.
What did you say? Make a or uh Kate, did you say something?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Are you going to the fucking wedding?
Oh, my dad's wedding. Yeah. I think I
The
have to
only
go to
thing
that.
that could legitimately be a thing right now.
Yeah, I'm going.
Good. I'm glad for you. This is all so exciting, seeing two people who are in love fucking admit that they love each other forever or whatever.
Do you get tax benefits when you get married in Wild House?
Gosh, I don't know.
Is there a legal advantage to getting married?
That's a good question.
They get
Anyway.
+2 AC when they get married for 2 days and nothing else.
That's right. Yeah,
Or 1
that's
week or
true.
something.
That's true. My God. The classic marry your PCs before a boss fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it'll totally be worth it, dude.
There must be something. I don't know. It's like not something that they're all that worried about because like their financial situation is fine. I don't know.
What's Wildmout's healthcare system? Do you just kind of hope you know a cleric?
I think so,
Yeah, right.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Or you
Yeah,
hope
so
you
it's
know
not like I have
someone
to.
with an herbalism kit or something.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but it's not like you have to get married so that you can see your husband in the hospital or whatever.
No, I don't think they have hospitals really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe somewhere they do. Probably not
Maybe
in
in
Wildmount.
Rex and Shrem. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's probably more like home visit situations.
Probably.
I don't think
Yeah.
people go places to convalesce that aren't their homes.
Unless you just like stumble into a church looking for a cleric or something.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
probably do that, but most people don't need to because they live somewhere and they know someone who knows someone.
Well, there's like a 30% chance this is their idea of a practical joke. It's not a big chance, but it is non-zero.
If it was a joke, that would be nice.
It would be funny. It would be really funny. And they'd be talking about it for generations. So on both sides of the family. So it'd be great. But it might be sincere. Only one way to find out.
Uh-huh. When will you find out?
When we arrive, I guess.
Which is gonna be when? Jackass.
I don't know. We haven't. I didn't plan this. I woke up yesterday and my sister shoved an invitation in my face. I haven't even looked at my mailbox. I don't even know if I have one.
You haven't checked the mail.
No, I think I did. That's a lie. because I wanted to send back my I'm bringing a +1 thing too.
Oh, yep.
So I
yeah,
must have
that's
checked
right.
it, but no, I totally just lie about it. I don't even.
Okay.
And if I can locate her at some point, I'm sure we'll figure that out.
Okay. What's Antimony doing this morning?
Good question. I feel like I imagine that Wildmount doesn't have wedding registries. So I don't know if I'm supposed to bring them a gift.
No, I listened back and I found out they had requested no gifts because
Right.
they are middle-aged and have everything they need already. So
Yeah.
if you need to get them like something small and personal, I'm sure they would think that was lovely, but they don't have like a registry.
What I'll do is I'll just I'll do the fireworks at the reception or something, and that'll
Nice.
be that'll be my gift to them.
The surprise fireworks.
Yeah.
Whether you want them or not.
Yeah. God. The best kind
Real-
of fireworks.
Real
are
Gandalf
surprise.
hours out here.
Oh yeah. Come into
There
Juvenile
actually
with a
were
cart.
surprise fireworks at my brother's wedding, and they were really nice. So
Aw.
it'll be great.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you have a lot of fireworks left, I think.
I think we do still have fireworks, yeah.
I'm gonna send Antimony a message
Okay.
in the middle of breakfast or whatever.
All right, go ahead.
Adakura wants to talk to you. Also, when are we going?
Good question.
Ah, shit, I said we. I didn't mean to say we.
Oh no.
Chris cringe.
Oh my god.
You're part of this group now.
You're part of the family now.
Immediately, like even before Antimity's answering, Adakor is like, would it make you feel better if this time we introduced you as a workplace acquaintance?
I mean, it would be better if you didn't introduce me at all, but like maybe, I don't know.
Nope, you're stuck. You're stuck with us now.
Ew. No. I'm gonna ask Torkel if he can reassign me to other people.
You asked for me
Yeah, and I regret it. Most sincerely.
every single day.
Yeah.
That's what I aim to do. You can put that on my performance review at the end of the year.
I'm just imagining Ophelia like, Torkel, I need a new party. These ones are getting too chummy.
They seem to think we're friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I will respond and just be like, are you at the Soul still?
I guess I'll send another one back.
This is the problem with sending. You have to keep casting it.
Let me actually mark these down because I.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Okay. Yeah, will be there probably. I mean, fucking, don't make me send another one of these, okay? Like. And that's it.
Oh man.
Okay. I send back a crab emoji somehow, and then I go. And I had the cobalt soul.
The general
Celia's like, how
impression
did
of the
she do
crowd.
that with her human mouth?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So yeah, you arrive at the Cobalt Soul. You find them. They're lurking somewhere.
Yeah, we're no longer on speaking terms, so it's just silent.
Hey,
Hello.
so in case you forgot, our dad's getting married to your mom,
He sure is.
and that's what we're all dealing with today.
Yeah. Yes, it is. When are we leaving?
That's what we fucking asked you. Bro, decide or, get out.
Well, I don't have anything to wear, so I think we need at least a day to get ready, maybe two. Yeah, I could leave tomorrow or the day after.
Feel like you're trying to draw this out so we don't have to spend that much time in Druvenload.
If I wanted to draw this out, the wedding's in 6 days. We could leave in 5 days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose we should probably show up with something to wear.
Or we could create a new fashion in Druvenload. For weddings, we go nude.
This is why we aren't talking anymore.
Antimony, tell Ophelia that we're gonna start a new fashion in Druvenload when the wedding comes around. We're gonna go nude as a party. She's not speaking to me, so I need you to tell her this.
Right. Somehow I don't think she's gonna go for it.
Fine, she doesn't want to be a trendsetter.
Okay, so are you guys gonna go shopping later today? What do you think?
Ooh, I guess so.
Yeah. Later.
All right. When you sent the RSVP, did you mention anything about like what you had been doing the last couple of weeks? Did you say like, "Hey, sorry, we just got this invitation because we were in Visay Steel," or were you just like, "Yeah, we're coming"?
I think I probably said, yeah, I probably apologized for the delay,
Okay.
just being like we were out of town.
Okay. Okay, great. I also just want to know if they will know that you were in Visay Steel.
Yeah, I think I'll probably
Yeah,
mention
that's
it. Why not?
Okay. Just
Yeah.
for like,
If you mentioned Visay's Teal, then it's probably implied that I was. Even if you were like, I was out of town and you didn't include me, at that
yeah,
point, it's probably implied that I was there.
yeah. That would be kind of wild
But
if
it would be
Antimony
kind of
went
funny.
by herself to Visay Steel.
But
Yeah,
it
I
would be
just
kind
didn't
of funny if you
bother.
were just like, sorry, I was out of town, and I'm like writing mine back, and I'm like, are you going to mention that we weren't here for a month? yeah. Okay, then I won't say anything. And then they get intimidated. It's like, I was on town, and Anakora is like, I just couldn't be
Oh,
fucked.
yeah,
Like-
I just didn't check my mail for 3 weeks. I don't really check my mail very much. Sorry, guys.
That's true of me in real life. I don't walk out to the mailbox except like once a week.
Oh man. Okay, so Ophelia, are you going to go shopping with them?
I guess.
Okay. All right. So you make plans to go shopping after lunch, I assume?
Yeah, mid-afternoon, perhaps.
Sure.
Some time to do other things.
Does anyone need more than maybe a day or two to get ready? Is that like our max for how long we're staying in town?
I can find things to do for 5 days.
Like what? Really, what else do you have to do?
Studying, asking Torkel for new team members, dying, you know, the usual.
Right. Okay. Well, we really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule of studying how to die for this.
Julie, did you say something? I couldn't hear you.
Since Anna spoke?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying like nonsense. Like, yeah, I'm
Okay.
glad I've taken time out of your day to
Okay.
agree to talk to your family members again for a second time. I don't know why. This is.
Okay. So you had your separate ways to reconvene this afternoon for shopping. Exciting stuff. All right. Adakora, you head to Analora's apartment again.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, you get there. She's just kind of dressed in like her work clothes. So like plain colors, nothing too crazy. Um, and she has a bunch of there's like some fresh bread and some cheese and stuff. Just some stuff she picked up for lunch.
All right. So you're going to think this is ridiculous, but I'm not joking. So please hear me out. I think. Well, let's start here. Would you agree that it might be good for you to spend some time outside of the city?
Um, is this going where I think it's going? Because
Probably. Probably. You're pretty good at anticipating what I'm thinking.
all right. Okay, let's just assuming I have no other context for this. Possibly. I think if anyone goes looking for me, they'll probably look here.
All right. Um, well, like I said, I have an idea, and I think you could come to Druvenlode for about a week.
All right. And do what?
Uh, be a guest at my dad's wedding. I told you you were gonna think it was funny.
It is funny. What would you tell people?
Technically, you're my friend from college.
All
My
right.
dad knows that.
That's true. Yes,
Uh,
I know you mentioned me to him. That. All right.
and technically, I don't think. Well, Antimone's going, obviously. Ophelia's coming along too, unless she decides it's not worth it in the next couple of days. Um, but I don't think they actually heard your name mentioned while we were in Blumenthal, so
Hmm.
I don't think it blows our cover.
Well, I mean, you're a better judge of that than I am. If you don't think they heard my name and that if they did, you don't think they'll remember it, then
I don't think so. I don't know if it was being gone for a month or almost seeing them die, but I really don't like the idea of leaving right now. And I understand if you would feel safer in the city um, instead of just with me, but there it is.
did you ever mention me to Antimony? Does she know who I am?
Don't think so. No, for the record, definitely not.
That's very funny.
She was a kid, definitely.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, that's true.
I mean, since Antimony has been in the city, I think I've been like, oh yeah, I'm going to see a friend, and then it's been
Mhm.
more. But
Hmm.
yeah, not back in college.
All right. Well, so what? Our entire story is that we were college friends. I have my usual day job.
Yeah, got to invite somebody to a wedding. So
I don't mention my family at all. I don't mention my surname. I should probably just have that seems too complicated, having a fake surname.
my dad probably will not remember your surname. Uh, I, I don't think
Maybe
that's an issue.
maybe I just won't mention it unless somebody asks me.
I mean, I don't have one, and neither does my dad, so
That's
it's not that
true.
weird.
Well, it's not that weird in Visayas Teal, maybe.
It's not that weird not to volunteer it.
All right, fair enough. Hmm. Okay, well, I suppose I can just use the story I fed you when we first met. The thing about the elderly rich woman who left me money. That one's pretty easy to remember at this point.
So you'll come?
I mean, I'll have to check with the higher ups. I don't have anything incredibly pressing going on. I mean, I'm kind of lying low right now anyway. So
Might take your mind off things a little bit.
maybe. Okay, you're gonna make a persuasion check for me.
God, moment of truth. 16.
Okay. A real one. Sorry, I just read the chat. A real Dwendalian spy. Uh-huh. All right. If you think it's not going to mess anything up, and if I can get permission, then why not?
All right.
I suppose it can't hurt for your friends to see us together since we meet up all the time.
Yeah, by and large, I don't think they're interested in who I talk to, but that could change. So,
All right. Just maybe like give your father and stepmother and whoever else a heads up that we're not together because I don't want to get a ton
all
of
right.
awkward questions about when we're getting married or something. That happens at
All
weddings.
right.
I have noticed. I get that. I get that a
That's
lot
true.
at weddings. Especially when it's your younger sibling getting married. It's not no fun.
Well, it's my dad getting married.
I know, but you
So
are
we've
the
got.
oldest.
Yeah, there might be some "you're next," and then I can just throw it out there that I'm in the prime of my life and I'm going to be for the next 200 years. But I will try to let them know.
All right. Well, I guess I have to. What's the fashion in Druvenload these days?
I tell her.
Okay, yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
here, but less fancy.
Yeah. No, I
The
have some
dress
clothes.
code is not yeah.
Yeah. I have some stuff left over from the old spying on rich merchants days, but it's probably too much. I'll see what I can find. Might have to buy new clothes for once.
All right. Well, let me know.
I will. I'm sure Amelia will have an answer for me today, I'm sure.
All right.
When are you
I'm
leaving?
not sure if we're leaving. I'm not sure if we're leaving tomorrow or the day after.
Okay.
We're getting closed tonight, and then it'll, I guess, kind of. I don't think there's anything else to get ready, really.
Do you have to get them a present or?
No, they've asked for no gifts. They don't want to fill their house with crap, so.
That's very sensible of them.
Yeah, sensible's not always the first word I pin to my dad, but Kazi's got a good head on her shoulders.
All right. All right. Well, let me know when you know when you're leaving.
Okay. Okay. And that is that, basically.
That was all?
That's
All right. He's like, was that it? Is that all you needed to tell me?
Is that all? I can come up with shit. Nothing that requires.
No. Okay. Yeah, you convinced her.
Now the hard part starts.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys meet up. It's like 2 o'clock probably, and you were going shopping.
I go send out another note. By the way, just so you know, my plus one and I are not dating. This also goes for Antimony and her plus one. Any questions about this?
Oh my god.
And we will leave.
That would be funny. Yeah, you get home and yeah, Cassia and Tyler are like, "Oh, you guys are both dating people." You're like, no, no.
No, no. This is platonic, strictly.
This is a friend situation. Okay. Okay, so
But yeah, but then we made up. I sent off another note.
and are you gonna mention to them that you're bringing someone when you meet up to go
Yes.
shopping? Okay.
Oh, when we meet up to go shopping.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but if we're meeting up, if we're meeting up now,
Yep. All right.
so I think I found a plus two. Unless you want to be the plus two, Ophelia, then my friend can be the plus one.
That's exciting.
I'm telling you now, not just because we're going to be traveling and then hanging out, I assume, at least a little bit. You will probably have to say hi. But so she's a friend from in college. Her name's Hannah Laura. She's a normal Empire citizen. So while we're on this trip, it would be great if you didn't mention definitely not the deserter we helped get out of the city or out of the country. Definitely not a shell. Basically, any of our extra legal adventures. It would be great if those did not come up in conversation with my very regular college friend. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not.
I do know some normal people, so I'd like it to stay that way.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Good. All right. Shall we shop then? Oh, are we
All
leaving
right.
tomorrow or not? What are we doing? We can talk while we shop.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Pardon?
Oh, if you said something, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was speaking with my grandmother.
Yep.
Yeah. Was what was said before that?
I was saying while we shop, we could talk about whether we're leaving in the morning tomorrow or day after or afternoon or whatever.
I see.
It's like a day's journey. What is it? A day and a half?
I think it's check the map. I know I said last time. It's Okay, yeah, Rexentrum to Blumenthal was like 8 hours or something, like a whole like daylight period basically. And to Druvenlode is a little bit further. So it's like maybe 12 hours.
Okay. So
So-
probably, unless we want to stay somewhere overnight. Well, we might have to do that anyway. I've traveled for 12 hours. It's not fun, but you can do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Kind of up to you guys. But it would be at least a whole day of traveling.
Yeah. So do we want to break it up?
Yeah. I'm tired of traveling for 10 years every day through the snow and the muck and the trees, the fucking trees.
Is there anywhere to? Are there like inns on the way, or if we stop on the way, is it going to be in the woods?
No, there's definitely inns on the road between Druvenlode.
Okay.
People travel. That is a very
Yeah.
well-traveled stretch
And
of
that
road.
sounds fine.
It's well maintained. I don't think there's a lot of woods in that area either. Yeah, Blumenthal, you kind of get some like lightly forested areas, but Rexentrum to Druvenlode is just kind of like a clear road, basically. And it's like a big, well-maintained road. Because there's a lot of carts of metal and heavy things getting dragged back and forth between the two cities.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's not snowing down here quite yet. You got some snow, I think, on the way back from Besace-Scale, but not here so far.
Okay.
But yeah, you will not have to camp.
Yeah, so we could leave after lunch, stop around dinner, do the rest of the way the next day.
Sounds good.
Right. Okay. Unless you guys really want to roleplay shopping, you can just describe what you get for me, because I want to know.
Who wants to go first?
I went on Pinterest and found stuff.
Okay.
That is the
I would
stuff.
love to
Cool.
see it.
Ooh.
Ooh, cute. Oh, I love it. I love the designs.
I feel like there's more stars on the dress for like Cobalt Soul feeling
Okay.
and like fancy designs, but I don't think she like got something from a tailor because she'd rather die. So, you know, it's not super
Okay.
specific.
Okay.
I don't have images picked out, but I think
That's fine.
I do want to go for a dress this time. Just switch it up, you know.
Sure.
I feel like Antoni's color is like I don't know, warm colors or something. Like a gold or orange kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Something. I'll look around. I'll see if I can find anything.
Yeah. If not, yeah, just a description is fine. You don't have to find pictures. Okay.
Yeah, I can't go on Pinterest while we're playing, or you won't. My video will freeze or something.
Oh no.
So I don't have images.
Okay.
But I'm thinking like a dressy robe situation. And I'm thinking in Cobalt Soul colors because this is my dad.
Yeah.
And I want to project a sense of, yes, I'm an adult now and it's going fine.
Yes.
Um,
I love it.
so I'm thinking like, Cobalt Soul chic, like a long robe. Slash
Okay.
sleeves might be kind of fun if that's a thing they do in Druvenloop anyway.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think it's as
Absolutely.
heavy as embroidery, on embroidery as like what Ophelia has, but or designs or whatever. But
Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, I like the long room idea. That's pretty cool. Okay. Um, sorry, I went on Pinterest, which was a bad idea.
I'm looking at stuff now too.
Terrible. This is it's just like a sink. And you don't know what Hannover's wearing. I don't have to have it yet. Um, anyway, okay. So let's say you all spend about like 5 gold. Since you're getting everything kind of quickly. And it's all high quality, even if it's not like the most highly decorated stuff available.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, you have your clothes. Did you want to get anything else or do anything else tonight?
What are
I
the
think
things that you always want when you don't have them, but that applies to a wedding? Let's get rope for my dad's wedding. You don't want to
Oh
run
my
out of
God.
rope.
Did you say let's get rope?
Yeah.
Are we giving him like a
Rope
present
is the
for
one
his
thing
wedding
you
night?
always run out of. No. Rope is the one thing you always run out of when you leave town.
Really?
You probably won't need it, but now that I've said that,
Okay.
I mean, you can get extra rope if you want.
it was a joke. But if we need it later, it totally wasn't a joke, and you all should have listened to me.
Well,
Well,
then
we'll
you should have
find
listened to
out.
yourself.
Now I just need to come up with an excuse for you guys to need rope. Okay, so you got your clothes. Very exciting. Are you guys gonna inform the Cobalt Soul that you're going to a family wedding. Did you do that already? I don't remember.
Did we?
You can
Did
have,
we?
it's fine, but I
I
don't know that that
remember.
actually happened.
I
I do
remember us
yeah.
joking about them not letting us go because we just got back. But technically, that was a mission. That wasn't time off to see my family. It just happens to be where my family lived.
That's
True.
true.
I mean, you did stay longer than you needed to, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the Cobalt Soul normally has like a sightseeing budget when it's
Oh, yeah.
people. Like, you know, if people
Absolutely.
are traveling, of course they're going to stay a little while.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think we've actually like talked to Torgal.
Okay. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
tell him he's a little surprised, but he's fine with it. He's like, "Oh, congratulations to your parents." Ophelia, I'm glad you're going along. I'm sure it will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And later that evening, you get a call from Laura. She is cleared to go.
I
Did you figure out when you're
will
leaving?
tell her. We're planning to leave after lunch tomorrow and split up the traveling over 2 days.
Okay, that's very relaxed. I like it.
Yeah, well, we're hoping not to have to fight giant spiders or anything else on this trip. Sleep in an inn.
Yeah, there shouldn't be anything like that on the road to Druven, though.
No. I mean, it would be interesting if there were. That would be something to. That would be something to distract the parents on the
That's
other end
true.
of the trip.
Well, try not to get in any fights while I'm there because I probably shouldn't reveal what I'm capable of in front of your friends or your family.
Right. Well, yeah, on the safe side, even if something does happen, try not to. Maybe don't do that. Yeah, but it should be fun. It's just Druvenload.
Right. And I mean, your stepmother's wealthy, right? That was my
They're well
general
off.
impression. Okay. Well, yeah, hopefully the guild members behave themselves and we won't go wandering into any dark alleys. We should be fine.
Exactly. All right. Should we pick you up?
Why not?
Oh, you can't thumbs up over the phone.
It's a phone call.
This is just how I communicate.
Yep, yep. Okay. Okay, so yeah,
All
you're gonna
right.
pick her up.
Around lunchtime.
All right.
Ophelia did institute. Ophelia suggested that I should take everyone out for dinner before missions. I should get everyone a meal. This isn't a mission, but I am willing to get everyone lunch the next day.
Okay.
And Hannelore maybe could be included in that if she would like. I'll suggest that.
Sure. I think that's a good idea.
All right. All right. Look for us around that time.
I will. See you tomorrow then.
See you then.
Okay. Wait, let me look at these
Go.
messages. Ooh, that's cool. Wow. I like the metallic vibe. That's very fitting, I think. for Metal Town and also your interests.
Yes. Fancy engineer is
Oh,
the,
yeah.
is the vibe.
Yes. And it's gonna be cold when you're traveling, so it's gotta bring coats and shit. But other than that, you're fine. Um, okay. Does anybody want to do anything in Rexentrum before we leave? God. Okay. Okay.
You come back to Turkle's office after we've all gone. You're like, why did I agree to do? No, you
It's like-
moan silently in your room, probably.
Yeah, you go complain to Torque. Do you complain to your roommates? I'm sure they're asking
Yeah.
you what happened. Yeah, Ida and Rebecca are like, "Hey, you were gone for so long. What happened?" They're like pestering you with questions.
It's like everything sucked. There were so many people.
Oh no, so many people. They're kind of like teasing you a little bit.
I know. I hate it.
What was Atacor's family like?
They were nice.
That's good.
I don't know. I feel like you guys would have done a better job, but like whatever. We can't all be cool monks and fucking ambassadors and shit. That's them, not me.
I know, yeah.
But
I don't think I would call myself an ambassador just yet, says Vodka.
well, you know, you might as well because you're cool enough or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to bed.
All right. Yeah, you get some sleep.
Thank you.
Conserve your energy.
Yeah, I'll need it.
Okay. Yeah, they're a little sad that you're going to be leaving again so soon, but they do think it's funny also that you're going from one family event to another family event. I mean, you could, but then the game wouldn't be very.
Yeah. I guess I will go for the sake of friendship and family and good vibes and the food. Actually, yeah, the food. Forget all those other ones. It's the food.
Just to keep thinking about the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ida's like, I bet the food's gonna be incredible.
Better be.
And they also like demand to see the dress that you bought and all of that.
Yeah. I'll show them because it's pretty.
Okay. Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and then let's see, I have to check something in my notes. Ooh. I have too many tabs open now. They're all unfocused. You, Ophelia, you get a note from Torgal asking you to come to his office quick before you leave.
Yay. I love being summoned to Torkel's office. Does it say for anything, or is it just like, come here
No.
and stew
Yeah,
in
he's
anxiety?
no, it's just like I just have to tell you something quick. I have some information for you on one of the things that you needed research on.
Oh, okay. I will go. That sounds
Yeah.
exciting.
Okay, yeah, you go. It's just Torkel. He's drinking a mug of tea. He's petting a kitten.
Hell
He looks like
yes.
he just woke up.
Wow. Early meeting.
And he says, yes, I don't have a lot for you just yet, but we did wanted to tell you this before you left. Expositor Crash's one of her contacts in Blade Garden looked into the person you mentioned, Lanzo, the one who was connected to your friend from the Saestiel. He is still alive, still in the army.
Is he like fucked up, or is he like healed or whatever?
He was on medical leave for some time, it seems. Not exactly sure of the details, but he is back on active duty, it looks like.
I don't know if it's a good thing to say what a shame or not, but like.
Well, if it's any consolation, this is a horrible thing to say. If it's any consolation, he's heading to the front soon to fight the Queen.
Guess.
So
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really remember what Sahar wanted. But it's good that
Sahar
he's
wanted
alive.
to not have killed him. That was most of it.
Okay, well,
What
yeah.
happens to him now is kind of, well, who knows? We'll
Yeah,
see.
if he dies, then nobody will care about Sahar. Maybe he should, just get stabbed by an arrow or something. Not that I'm, advocating for the death of anybody, but
Of course. Anyway, I just pass that information along to whoever needs to know.
okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you now so I didn't have to fit it into 25 words later.
That's probably a good idea. Even though 25 words is a perfectly acceptable amount of words to get your message across, as has been shown through our eloquent, things.
Yes, well, it's a necessary skill in our line of work.
And one that we are very good at. Very proficient indeed.
Yes, you're doing very well.
Thanks.
Right, now enjoy yourself.
Sending is the perfect spell. You always get everything right the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I
No.
got an answer anyway. I don't think he's seen the well.
Did you
Okay,
ask
well.
Torkel if he'd seen the ocean? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
No. She asked if he'd traveled much.
Yeah.
That's what
He
it
was like,
was.
yeah. And she was like, he hasn't seen the ocean.
Right? He was like, well, I grew up in another city, so I've traveled some, yes, and Yeah, you didn't really
That was nowhere near the
pry
ocean,
any
so
further.
obviously he's never been. Okay. Thanks, I guess.
You're
Or
welcome.
do you think people who are getting married would appreciate a kitten as a wedding gift?
Cat people? Do you
I
know them very well?
I think one of them's Atakora's parent, and he likes cats. Maybe. Do you like cats, Atakora?
Yeah, I think I tried to make off with one of the kittens at one point.
Yeah,
Like,
Atakora tried to steal a cat, so
Hmm. Well, I am trying to get these kittens adopted, but I do like to at least talk to the prospective cat parents ahead of time, unless it's someone you know very well and could vouch for them. But
okay.
I think if you knew that they liked cats, maybe, but
Maybe I'll
doesn't
ask
seem
them.
like doesn't seem like an ideal wedding present for someone who is neutral towards cats
That's true.
or
There's a
who
cat
hates
in
cats.
Izzy's one right now.
Hello,
Cat spotted.
it's spotting. It's like just like blurry movement in the background.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like a little cryptid.
Yep. Okay. All right. Lunchtime rolls around. You have to, well, I'm sure you all pack some regular clothes to wear the rest of the time. Yeah, you can just wear like the everyday shit you would have worn at home rather than like heavy duty traveling clothes. So, but yeah, it's and you're meeting for lunch beforehand. What kind of restaurant are you going to?
Um, no, I feel you. But I'm gonna say Ophelia talks seriously to someone.
No, it's never gonna happen.
Well, if I log off the call, will you do it? Because you're not feeling defensive. And then I can just watch it later when the pressure's on.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know. We could go eat. They have burger joints in there. Just regular
yeah.
old burger joint.
I don't know if they have hamburgers. They can if you want them to, I suppose. Um, why? Okay, I'm gonna do something a little more German slash Zemnian. Um, and it's like a sausage place, basically. They have like sausages in buns of various types, along with, I don't know, beer and sides.
Okay.
Mustard, I don't know.
That sound good to everyone? Does this sound like acceptable
Yeah.
fantasy food?
Sure.
If no one else picks a restaurant, it falls to Edakora.
Yeah, that seems like the kind of thing they would make him do, pick the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I also have to order for the But yeah, but we pick up on Alora on the way there.
All right,
She's coming
yeah.
along with us.
Yes, so you are you just borrowing a cart from the Cold Soul? You probably can, it's fine. Um,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's better than all riding, and it's definitely better than walking.
Yeah, no, you will be able to get there. that quickly if you are.
Yeah, they're like, this is the company car, so be careful. But
Yeah. Yep.
yes,
Yeah, Torkel talks to someone, and you guys are to use a Cobalt Soul cart. Um, but yeah, you roll up in the company car, and you're at just sort of like it's kind of like a decent residential area. Like the people who live here living comfortably enough. They're not wealthy by any means. But yeah, it's sort of like craftspeople and uh, people who work in like Hannelore is basically a clerk. So that's tier of job. What did you tell them anything about her besides her being your college friend?
she's my college friend. I told them her name.
Okay.
I mentioned it. Um, they didn't really ask me anything, so
Yeah.
so if you guys want to ask, like, oh wait, who are we picking up? Go ahead, but
Okay. So yeah, you go up to this. It's kind of like a little apartment building. It probably has like a couple of units in it. Um, oh my god, the cat.
Kitty.
Oh my god, look at him. Okay. Um, that's all. Sorry, I'm done. Yeah, you see a woman emerge from one of the buildings. She is about 30, um, kind of average height. She has blonde hair that's just in a braid, a lot of freckles. She has kind of a round face. She just looks very she's pretty but in kind of like an ordinary looking way. Just sort of like if you conjured up the image in your mind of like send me in girl. This is kind of what you picture. But yeah, she smiles and waves to everyone.
I will wave back.
Laura, this is my sister Antimony, and this is our colleague. Kind of questions like, don't want to be called friends. Colleague Ophelia. Work friend.
It's so
Guys,
good
this
to
is Hannelore.
it's good to finally meet both of you. She like shakes your hand. I don't know, something
Yeah. I'm gonna ask her what Adakora has said about me.
well. The thing is I met him about 10 years ago, so I do have some stories from when you were 14 or so. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Those were the days.
But it sounds like you took your talents for blowing things up and channeled them into an interesting field.
And that's all we can all hope to aspire to. Really.
And
I
you're
mean,
working for the Cobalt Soul now? Is that right?
Yeah, sort of just freelancing, but
Interesting. It's got to be an interesting place to work.
it is. I mean, we've, you know, gone to interesting places so far. I don't know if I'd ever have gone to Visayas Teal otherwise.
She turns and shakes Ophelia's hand.
It's shaken.
Oh God.
You see, she doesn't look like judgmental at all, but she is kind of sizing you up a little bit. Like you can, I don't know, you just get a vibe that she's like taking you in, not in a judgmental way, but in a like observant way.
We're enemies now.
So you're the one who got Adakora to start leaving the library.
Yes.
His stories have gotten a lot more interesting since then.
It's true.
What stories are there?
God, what would you have told your new friend?
Yeah.
about
I mean,
shit that
the
you've
fact
been
that we
through?
travel is not sensitive information.
No, yeah.
So, we
Um,
went to Hopperduke and it's a very
yeah.
interesting city. The stories, I think the stories that he would have told that would make sense for her to think would be more about places. Like when he's
Yeah.
trying to avoid, like, this is what we actually did, he just describes a place.
hmm Okay, yeah, she's like, oh, yes, well, going to Hupperduke, seeing all of the fireworks and war machines. There was a prison break, as I recall. Explosions. Heroically rescued some missing children in Blumenthal. That was very public knowledge, so you could have easily told her that.
Yeah.
Because, like, the whole town knew about
And it
that.
makes us look good.
It does. It makes you look very good.
It's very good press. So, yes, we rescued 12-year-olds. It's not political at all. You can just kill hags with impunity in this country. Anyway.
It does sound pretty exciting coming from another person, I suppose.
Well, I work in one of the public records offices in Rexton, so my days are not quite as exciting.
Just doing archive work or
Mostly. I'm mostly organizing a lot of older records that we have. I do read some interesting old court cases. But yes, a lot of filing, a lot of shelving, sorting.
if you were talking to people, that at least would be exciting with all the personalities you can encounter.
I do talk to people occasionally, but most of what I do is behind the scenes. I sometimes help people find records and things like that.
That's good. At least.
I do enjoy it.
I imagine we're like going to the place.
Yeah,
We're not
you
just
guys are
standing
on
outside
your
her house.
no,
saying
you're
this.
in the cart. You're on your way to the sausage joint. Um,
Conversations are also always a little less awkward when you're in motion.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are not just sitting around. It's totally fine. Um, okay. Yeah, you go to the restaurant, you eat some lunch. Just, small talk. Honolulu's pretty good at small talk.
As long as it's with the other two people and not with Ophelia, it's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, she like doesn't really push Ophelia. She kind of senses that you don't really feel like talking and just sort of leaves you alone. She probably asks about the family a little bit. um, like, tell me about all your relatives and stuff. I haven't sent you a list of all the relatives yet. I'm sorry I've done that, but I have a list of the people. I think I finally named them. But yeah, she's kind of just like, okay, what can I expect from your large family? That sort of thing. But yeah, she's very like personable and friendly. Oh my god. I'm just waiting for Ophelia to try to recruit Hannelore to the Cobalt like she does with everyone else.
That's true. It'll take time, maybe.
Oh man.
Nobody else took her offer, so
I'm intimidated.
only Antimony.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You're like a college board. You keep sending out postcards compulsively. Come visit our campus.
Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, you guys have a nice lunch and you head off on the road. And yeah, the road is pretty big. It's fairly busy, but there's no trouble. Like this is really not a road that anyone in their right mind would attack.
Easy peasy. I think there. Adakor, I think, is keeping up with the conversation. He's a little distracted. I think there's a part of his brain that's going, Ayun, if you're out there and this goes well, I will like worship you for real.
Oh my
If this doesn't end in complete fucking disaster.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah,
Just a
she
little distracted.
Hell yes. Okay. Ophelia won't say anything. Yeah, and she asks you about the trip to Visayas Teal, all that stuff. Um, are you guys like pretty good about keeping quiet about the sketchier stuff?
I
Ophelia.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Ophelia's good at saying nothing at all, so she's very
That's
quiet
true. No, that's
indeed.
very true. Okay. Yeah, so she gets the version of the trip without the assassination attempt in it. But she
Good
seems
job, everyone. Good job.
very interested. And yeah, she asks all of you a little bit about your backgrounds and stuff, except for Adakora because she does seem to know a lot about Adakora. Like she'll occasionally bring up some like dumb thing they did in college or like a little inside joke. But she doesn't really say anything to indicate that they were like anything but friends. So
Mhm.
they just seem to have, from based on her stories, they just seem to have hung out in like the same social circle and had a lot of classes together and just like kind of goofed around the way college students do. Does anybody have any questions for Honolulu?
Hmm. I mean, technically, I have no reason to suspect she's an Empire spy, so
course
I
not,
really
yeah.
don't have any question.
Okay. But are you curious about this friend of your brother's that you've never, or are you just kind
Yeah,
of like,
I
oh
mean,
yeah,
probably, ask about their college days and whatnot, just kind of
okay,
casual little things.
yeah, all right, yeah. Then she just kind of talks about that. She doesn't really go into detail about previous parts of her life.
Mhm.
So just kind of sticks to the topics that are by other people. Oh God, absolutely he has. There's no way that hasn't happened,
Oh yeah.
You're right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. In college, yeah. Now I don't think. Not in the past. Not in the past while,
no,
but
no, but I think like his freshman year, he totally did.
yeah, that checks out.
Cause like I don't think he grew up around, like it was just his dad and his stepmom and his like little sister. So I I don't think you had a lot of like hooligan friends in Druid probably.
Yeah. I was the hooligan friend.
It's true. Yeah, you were. You were.
yeah.
But yeah, now you're like, oh, I can just go out and drink. Like nobody cares.
Yeah. And I only need 4 hours of sleep, so I could still make it to class the
That's
next day.
true. Oh my God. She's like, it's
Elves
yeah,
are a menace.
it was insufferable. He would stay out later than everyone else and be totally fine the next morning.
What a jackass.
We all hated him the day after parties. She talks some shit about Edacora and you automatically like her a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you guys just kind of drive until it gets dark and then you hit an inn along the road. It's pretty basic, there's stables, there's food, there's some places to sleep. But yeah, it's like big and comfortable, fairly basic, but like everything's clean and the food is very filling. Okay. How many rooms we getting?
I'm getting a room to myself unless
Okay.
there's a mysterious shortage at the fanfiction inn.
No, you could get 4 if you wanted to, but
There's only one room, in fact, and we all have to share it.
my God, there's only one bed for everybody. Oh God. That's like the nightmare scenario. There's only one bed for the whole party.
Right.
Not for every party, but
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Honolulu will like offer to share a room with either of you if you don't want to look at, but she will also pay for her if that is like the way it's going.
Yeah, individual rooms sounds good.
Okay.
smart.
Okay. All right. Anyone have anything they would like to do tonight?
I will pray to Ayun and say, well, so far so good.
You have a vague sense of like laughter in the back of your mind. It's just sort of yeah, like you just it's like the feeling that somebody is watching you except they're laughing at you a little bit.
Oh boy. Well, I get that feeling a lot, but it could be anything. That's not a
I
god.
know. It's been Ayun this whole time, every time. It was always Ayun laughing at you in the back of your mind. Um, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, you wake up the next morning. Um, you have breakfast, you head out. Let's see, how long were you guys traveling yesterday?
We were cutting it like in half.
Okay, 6 hours-ish. Okay. So if you yeah, you leave like pretty early the next morning.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so you can get to Druvenload around lunchtime, we'll say. Honolulu looks kind of tired this morning. Like she didn't sleep super well. But she's not acting like it. She's kind of has the same general attitude as she did yesterday.
Hmm.
Oh man.
Doesn't seem like anything beyond general tiredness to me.
Make an insight check.
Okay. 8.
Make it with advantage, just because you know her pretty well.
That was worse. So still 8.
Oh my god.
No. Yeah,
Adakora is just too worried about the sweating to put anything else.
yeah, you don't really get any other impression. It just kind of seems like she didn't sleep super well, which happens to humans. They don't get like 4 perfect hours of trance every night. It's like sometimes they just sleep badly.
Yeah. All right. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Yeah.
Do you want to have any conversations before you roll into town?
Anybody need emotional support
Oh god.
for seeing their parents slash friends' parents?
Oh man.
Well, I'm gonna get myself into the family event zone. You know, center.
Just take some deep breaths.
Yep.
I will kind of pull Antimony into the front of the cart with me
Okay.
for this go. If no one else has anything to say right now.
No.
And as we're cruising off, I'll ask. So this is the first time you'll have been home since you dropped out and stuff, right? Not to mince words or anything.
Did I go home like briefly before, I think?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
You dropped out and then you went home for at least a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I think you traveled around for a while with
Okay.
two.
Yeah, I don't know if Adakora knows about that though, so I'll just
May
be
not,
like
yeah.
well, I mean I did go home for a couple weeks. like right after, but we didn't really talk about it that much.
Well, first time home after getting a new job is definitely like a stronger position to be coming from.
Right. I mean, in terms of negotiations, sure.
Oh my god.
How you feeling?
Uh, well, I mean, okay. Feeling about as okay as I'm probably gonna be. Hopefully, they'll be too busy keeping all of the cousins from killing each other over the seating plan to worry too much about what I'm doing.
There's a strong chance of that, I think.
Does your family all just like hate each other or like what?
Well, I mean, if you can believe it, they actually like each other quite a lot, but I think this is just how they show it.
Sometimes it's just like that.
It's, guild politics, I guess.
Are they all part of the same one or different?
Well, my mom's family is all mining guild. Yeah. And of course, that means they are constantly debating about what the best direction to take the guild is.
Just like
So,
into the mountain
yeah.
though, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many directions you can go.
Oh man.
is it like a bloodthirsty search for power? Like is all your family planning to backstab each other to try and get like the top seat in the whatever?
I mean, I think it's less of stabbing each other in the back and more of like stealing your siblings' clothes, because it looks better on you.
Hmm. Do they actually steal clothes or
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do. But metaphorically.
Your cousins probably did some of that when you were kids.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
Seriously, we had this conversation yesterday.
Oh my god.
I love this. I feel like this is actually like what guild politics are like, though.
Yeah?
Someone took all of her photos of her grandmother from her house,
What?
and she's
Wow.
still waiting to figure out which family member it was.
Oh my god.
This John Mulaney
The one
family.
you can't
Right?
replace. Yeah. Anyway,
Wow. Okay.
it happens, apparently. Taking each other's clothes.
Stealing the silverware.
Yeah. Classic Baggins is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your cousin shows up and steals your silverware.
Yep. And
Except
they're
she
like,
won't
we
give them
thought
back.
you were dead. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't come back for a few months. I don't even know how long he was gone.
Have you ever like played mediator to family disputes? Like, did they ever call you over as a child and were like, do you love me or this other person more? And then like whoever you picked was gonna be the winner in the argument?
No, sadly, I never had that prestigious a position. Mostly I was just blowing things up in the background.
Like metaphorically or
Mm, sure, but also literally.
Is your room still the way you left it?
I mean, I don't think that Mom has painted over the scorch marks, no.
Is
Oh my god.
is the shrine still there?
Oh,
Ooh.
the
The Percy
Percy
Turtle.
Gorilla shrine. Your teenage crush on Percy Turtle.
God. Incredible.
But I almost forgot about that.
I forgot about it too for a sec.
Wow.
And then it all
That's
came rushing
incredible.
back.
I'm really good at remembering these things.
Yeah, the last time you were there, your pre-Solstice Academy room had not really changed.
Yeah. So I will not deign to answer this question, but I do believe that the Percy shrine is still in the closet.
God. Yeah, there are definitely scorch marks. I think your mom was like, we're leaving the scorch marks there unless you paint them over. Like, you have to get rid of them if you want them. And
Yeah,
you do. So,
and I chose to keep them.
yeah.
Very punk rock to make it a badge of honor.
I feel like Atakora's room is probably doesn't have much left in it. Because I'm sure you took all of your like teen stuff to college with you.
Yeah. Or threw it out, but
Yeah, or threw it out. Because a lot of your like little kid stuff is still back in Visayas Teal, obviously. The stuff that was saved.
yeah.
But yeah, I think your room is kind of like a guest room at this point. Just a classic parent move if your kid has been out of the house for a long time. Like, this is just a guest room now. You can sleep here when you visit.
Did they say in their letters that we were gonna? They invited us to stay for longer. Did they invite us to stay with them? Or is it like we should really be off site while the wedding is getting put together?
I think they probably invited you to stay with them. Yeah.
Okay.
It was not really clear about the plus ones because that was all sort of vague. You
Okay.
know, like
Yeah.
you may have to work that out.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there are inns and
Fine.
Druidables. It's not a big deal, but
Yeah, there's a lot of places to stay. Like so
it's a little more trade oriented than Visay
Mhm.
Steel, so
Oh yeah,
a little less
lots
out
of
of the way to find an inn.
yeah, lots of inns, lots of restaurants and things. Gambling is actually big in Visayas Teal. Visayas Teal, Druvenlode. It's in the source book. There's like two big casinos that are like always kind of dueling each other. So
God, you could
yep.
stay at one of the casinos.
God. Amazing. Yeah, but yeah, you kind of roll into town around noon or one ish. Let me just read some stuff out of the source book so I can get you some descriptions of the city. Mm. Okay, so Durbanlode is mostly human. The population is 70% human, 14% dwarves. That's like kind of the other biggest group. There are actually apparently 9% of the population is elves, which is very interesting. But I think it's probably like elves who have been living in the Empire for a while, or like Empire lands. Like I think there are little pockets of elves living in other places that are culturally very different from the Beziah Steel elves. Like they didn't come down from Laesmere, they came from wherever else. So you guys, I mean, I'm sure you like knew other elves in Druvenlode, but it was still a little different. Like there was kind of a cultural
Mhm.
like tension there. Um, but yeah, a lot of humans. It's very. I think you guys are the only non-humans in the family, in like your sort of circle of your grandparents and siblings and your mom and her siblings and their cousins. I don't think anyone else married a non-human. Um, like I said, it's not a super ornate looking city. It's not like the most beautiful city to look at. The construction is kind of practical. And that's sort of like, I think it's a little bit of a point of pride for the town. They're like, oh, this is a town for people who do work, like shit like that. Mm. Everything is functional here. There's a lot of as you head into town, um, there's like you probably go through like the center of town area where there's a ton of stores and workshops and inns, and there's people like playing music on the street. There's just a lot of stuff going on. People selling stuff from parts. And on either side of the street are the two like big casinos, basically. There's just this sort of long street. It's called Silver Street, and it's the center of like downtown, I guess. But yeah, there's there's a casino on each end. Exciting. And then you can kind of
Yes.
see um on another section of town as you approach, there's sort of like the area where regular people live, which is it's pretty dreary looking. Like if the rest of the I mean, even like the nicer parts of town are super pretty. So the worst parts of town, it just like it doesn't it's a bad looking place. But there are, people out in the streets. There's also a lot of music happening here, taverns and things. And then there's another section of the city, it's like kind of set farther from the rest of town. There's almost a divide. But so this area is called the Pillars. And it is the sort of industrial portion of the city. And you can see it because there's like smoke coming out, and just sort of soot all over the place. It's like where a lot of the smelting happens. There's a lot of metal processing that goes on in the city. So there's the three main things are mining, which of course mostly takes place outside of town. And then in the city, you've got like these massive smelting operations. And then of course, like smithing is the other big thing. And then there's a ton of other little industries going on to like support all of this, including gambling and shipping and stuff like that. But yeah, you kind of pass through these different sections of town uh, until you get to. There's no name for like the nice neighborhood in the source book, which usually there is a name for it. Usually Matt gives me one. I don't know. I'll say it's kind of on the opposite side of Silver Street from like the more slummy area. You start to get nicer houses. You get the guild houses, um, townhouses where like beer people live. Yeah, people who are merchants are in like business and managing mines. Some of them maybe own mines. But even these houses aren't super fancy. Like the really really rich people who are involved in this kind of thing like live out of town in mansions basically because it's sort of a dirty city. Like if you're super rich, you just don't even live here. Because there's a little bit of smog everywhere. It's if you're like rich enough, you build your nice mansion out of town in an open field or something. But yeah, it's a busy city. There's a lot going on, and there's always people out doing things, and somebody is always out having fun. But yeah, you kind of pull into the calmer, nicer area of town that the slightly wealthier people live. Um, and I think Cassia probably lives in the same house as her elderly parents, who are like in their 80s now and don't really, they're like extremely retired at this point. Yeah, they spend all their Fridays at the casino. Oh, oh yeah, you just didn't tell them. Well, yeah, you gotta wait till she's out of the way. Amazing. I love this. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, but this is the house that she grew up in. It's the house that you grew up in, Antimony. And Taito probably just moved there um when he and Katsuya like got serious. So you lived here for a while too. And it's just kind of a big you know, sturdy, well constructed family home. There's a lot of rooms. There's a second floor. And it's kind of just there's probably places for all of you to stay. Like there's guest rooms, there's a big dining room. It's a house for entertaining and having, you know, your entire family over. That's probably for people, the extended Knock family and people who married into it go to like I don't know, congregate. And you know, a lot of other guild members go there. It's a social hub of like their circle. Is it squatting if your partner of 30 years like all like is going to inherit the house?
I mean, is it?
I guess it depends on how she treats it.
That's true.
If she's like, you're a stinky little bastard man, even though you are my partner, then it's squatting.
Oh my god.
He has a
Um,
job, technically. He could pay rent.
Right?
No, he totally has a job. I don't think Taito is like a very financially savvy person. Not that he's bad with money. Like he was never, you know, it's not like he gambled or anything. He didn't like mismanage his money, but he just like doesn't give a shit, you know. Like I'm sure Cassia manages all of their money, including his like
Yeah.
book royalties or whatever. Like he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. You he's an artist. He doesn't have time for this.
Anacor's like, the best thing that happened to this family is when Kazuya took over your finances.
Literally, yeah. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, you're making a lot of money from these books from like several centuries of writing books. Like you could be investing some of this." And he was like, "Okay, sure."
When Anacora and Taito first moved to Drubenlode and lived alone, I don't like they probably like didn't spend money on furniture because they've been moving a lot. Now they're here, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like Parks and Rec eating off frisbees. Like we're just kidding.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
we haven't gone shopping for
Oh my
plates and
God.
stuff.
And Adakura probably thought that was really fun when he was
Yeah.
15 or whatever. Like, hell yeah, we're eating off frisbees. My dad's cool and chill. Yeah.
We don't need cupboards. We don't need to wash dishes.
Oh,
We get
God.
takeout all the time.
Yep. Oh God, yeah.
Not because he couldn't afford them, just because they couldn't be bothered. And then,
Yep.
and now he's like, how did I live like that?
Yeah. Yeah, he must have had a decent amount of money socked away from his incredibly long writing career. So he just probably wasn't doing anything with it and wasn't like living very expensively. So it was just sort of piling up. But yeah, you know, it was good once it came time for you guys to all go to college. Then it came in handy.
And Anacora learned how to wash dishes again, and to relearn how to wash dishes.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Knox probably have like very minimal servants, like probably not people who live in the house with them, but like somebody they probably like have somebody they hired to cook and stuff, and like someone who helps clean the house. It's a pretty big house. But yeah, it's not like you guys probably had to do some chores as children.
Right.
You're probably, like picking up your room and shit. But you probably didn't have to do a lot of dishwashing once you moved into the
Okay.
family home. Maybe a little bit to build character. I don't know. But
Yeah, I need a lot of character building.
oh God, so much. But yeah, you can. I don't know. They probably have like a garden and maybe a stable. They probably own a horse. I don't know. How does I don't know how Dungeons and Dragons economics works. We've established this. Yeah, I would say the family owns a horse and probably like a carriage to like go around town in and to travel between cities. So yeah, there's somewhere you can stash your cart.
I will nudge Inhumani and say, do you want to go warn everyone we're here while I go park the cart?
Yeah, maybe we should. So as, not to alarm +1 and +2 with the entire family at once.
Laura laughs and says, "Which one of us is +1 and which one of us is +2?"
We're going to let you fight over that.
All right. Here, let me help you with the horses.
Right. So I will like drop Antimony off at the front and
Yep.
go to take the cart.
Mm-hmm. And Ophelia, I assume, stays with the cart.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
help, I guess.
Okay.
I don't think he needs help, but like, since Hannah Laura said she'd help, I'll help.
Was Hannah angling to get like 2 minutes alone with Adakora? Maybe, but you don't know that. It's fine.
She
I
needs
just
to
assumed you would
understand.
want to go talk to the parents with just
Yeah.
Anthony there.
It's okay.
Okay, yeah, you go and
Yeah, we get to the stables. It's like, quick, we can lose her.
Yeah.
No.
nah, you
Can we take a quick break because my sister finished the Percy Jackson series and wants to talk to me?
Okay.
I just
was
got a
gonna-
text from my mom.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna kind of finish up pretty soon. Maybe just like
Okay.
after we say hello to the parents. I'm not gonna go into a ton more tonight. But if you want to stop for a very, like, I don't know how long of a break you want to take.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to talk to her right now. It's just like, if she only wants to talk for like 5 minutes, I can do that. You know, like, I don't know. Because she's probably got to get to bed. My sister's 12.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping to finish up in the next like 10 minutes or so, just because it's getting
Okay.
late for me.
Hmm.
All right. Let's keep going.
Okay, so yeah, you put the horses and the cart away. Hannah like good with farm animals. You notice this, Ophelia. She kind of like knows what to do with them and seems comfortable around horses. But yeah, and you guys can all sort of carry all of your stuff. Did you like grab your stuff, Antimony, when you went to the house?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you carry everything up to the, oh my god. Oh my god. Him ear.
There he is.
Oh, I
The
see
boy.
him back there. Just a little.
He's
Oh my
good.
god, hang on. Because there's both of them. There's like 2 of
Are
them
there
here.
2? Oh my god. Oh, there's 2. Oh my god.
There they are.
Kitty.
Oh, there's 2 cute. Okay. Um, okay, as they're doing that, Antimony, you go and knock on the door.
Yep.
And you hear somebody walking kind of quickly up to the door, and your mother opens it. She looks exactly the same as you remember her. She's pretty tall, on the tall side for a human woman. She is sturdy, pretty muscular, and she has a lot of freckles, blue eyes, and blonde hair that's got some gray streaks in it. It's like done up in a bun. And she's wearing, pretty relatively practical clothing.
Hmm.
Just kind of a typical like day at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, and she sees you and is, oh, Antimony, and she gives you a big hug.
Yes, I will hug her. In that sort of, awkward, like
Mhm.
adult child way. Where you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And she was still a little taller than you. I don't think you ever got.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like Antimony is just like a normal kind of height, and I
Mhm.
don't know where she gets it from because I think
Yeah.
Taito and Kasia are both tall.
Yeah, Taito was not super tall for like a male elf. I don't think like he's shorter than Atakora.
Hmm.
Cassie is, so who knows? Yeah, she hugs you very tightly. Oh, how was the trip? Where's your brother?
He's stashed in the cart. But you know,
Good. And you brought friends?
we did. Yeah. Atakora has one of his friends from college, and we brought our let's say colleague Ophelia.
Pretend she's not there. Oh, all right. Well, they're welcome to stay here if they want.
Right. What's what's the deal with everybody right now? Is everybody here or
No, no. Who's here? Your father's here. Your grandparents are here. Oh. She kind of like looks back into the house.
I love
Your
that
aunt
she has
was
such chat.
your aunt was here helping me with some things, but she might have left. She had to go to, I don't know. One of your cousins has a music recital or something. I'm not sure.
Right.
Hard to say. But no, it's mostly just us here right now. You don't have to see everyone all at once. Don't
A little bit at a time, sure.
Yes. Oh, it's so good to see you. He gives you another hug.
I will accept my second hug.
All right, I'll go drag your father out of his office.
Right. I'll see what how they're doing with the cart.
Okay. And she heads up the stairs. Taito just has like office probably. It's a huge one. It's just like full of like stacks of paper and I don't know. It's like a stereotypical like messy writer office.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys head in probably shortly after she disappears.
Yeah.
This is quite fancy.
It's nice. Is anyone here?
Oh, yeah. My mom is just collecting our father.
Yeah, you guys, take off your cloaks, you hang them up, get a little comfortable, and yeah, in a minute or so later, Cassia comes downstairs with Taito in tow.
Is
He looks. Oh, sorry. Go
I think you were gonna say it anyway, but like, is he hot?
ahead. Is he hot? They are an interesting pair. He looks like he's maybe in his mid-30s. Like he looks the same age as Melodora, which he is. But they're about the same age. And Kasia is in her mid 50s, not mid 60s. She's like 56, I think. And she looks great, but like is visibly 50 something. And yeah, Taito, it looks like he's maybe 35. He has a little bit of a slighter build than Atakora. He's a little shorter, but he has similar like skin tone and facial features and a similar hairstyle too. I think he has like very short hair rather than the braids that a lot of people have in Visayas Teal. Because he could just never be bothered. I think. But yeah, I guess he's hot. I don't know.
Comparative to me.
I feel like that entire family is hot. Like the Melodora, Taito, Atakora,
Sounds about right.
they're all good looking people. Yeah, but he's just kind of smiling.
Hey, Dad.
And he comes out and hugs everybody. Oh, it's good to see you.
Not knowing if Antimony has already mentioned who our friends are, I will introduce them again. You remember? Blah, blah, blah. I wrote
Mhm.
you about this.
Of course, of course. Wonderful to meet you both. He gives you both like handshakes. He hugs Antimony. I'm so glad you could come early.
I'm glad we got the invitations in time to come at all.
Yeah.
He laughs. Yes, I didn't even know you left town. I'm glad you went to Besaeus Hill though. That's good. How's your mother?
Doing well.
Good. They're not having too much trouble?
It's they're coping.
Well, his face gets a little bit solemn for a second, like you can tell he's kind of I mean, he was never as like politically invested as Melodorum. But he knows the vibe. He knows what it's like in Possession. And he knows what Melodorum thinks of the Empire. Um, so
Yeah, well, everyone knows.
everybody knows. Yeah. You can't like spend any time with her. But yeah, he kind of sighs and then he smiles again. Well, I'm glad everyone's all right. And I'm glad that you went to go see them.
Me too.
Yeah, and then it turns into like, Antimony, how's your new job? Like just parent questions, sort of.
Yeah.
I think you get
Horrible.
the brunt of it right now because of your new job.
Right.
So yeah, you're just getting sort of peppered with questions.
I think after a minute, it's like, wait a second, we're here to see you.
Yeah.
This operation was your idea. How's the planning? Do you need help with anything?
Oh, I think we've got it all under control. Well, Taito hasn't been planning much. He's kind of shrugs, like I'm in the middle of writing as usual. Uh,
I'm not gonna ask about it. So
Honestly, your Aunt Meryl is doing at least 50% of the wedding planning. She's very excited.
Oh.
Cassia's like, yeah, yeah.
she's been waiting a long time.
She's been waiting such a long time. I
Right.
think she always thought I would get married before she did, and that she could, be a bridesmaid in my wedding or something. She was very interested in that sort of thing when she was a girl. But I disappointed her until now. So, but yes, she's very excited. Yes, we're having. We rented out the big meeting room in the guild hall, so plenty of space. We don't have to have everyone in the house. The guest list got a little out of control, but I think these things happen. Um, Unfortunately, there are just a lot of people we had to invite so as not to offend them. But that's the way it
Wow.
goes sometimes with guild politics. It'll be fine. We'll make sure we don't seat anyone near any of their rivals, and everyone will get a lot of food and a lot of wine, and they'll all go home happy.
Ideal.
Yes. So I'm in charge of that part, the seating arrangements and the guest list and all of that. And I think your aunt is dealing with, the decorations and the catering and everything. So we've got most of it under control.
Most of it. Yeah.
I'm sure we can find something for you to do. But yeah, they kind of. Oh, okay. I'm gonna stop it soon, but they're gonna ask. Okay. And Cassia asks, the two of you, Hannelore and Ophelia, would you like to stay here? Just we have one or two friends from out of town. We do have a guest room, but it's only one room. It has two beds in it, but if you don't mind sharing the room, you're perfectly welcome to stay here. Hannelore's like, oh, sure, yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's
In the bathroom. That's where you do sending anyway.
you know what, that's true.
You go to send messages. Oh my god. Just go in the stables and hang out with the horses and message Solar. Okay, so yeah, it's you guys head up. You guys can put your stuff in your childhood bedrooms. Ophelia, you and Hannelore drop your stuff off in the guest room, which yeah, just has like two small beds in it and is tastefully but sparsely decorated. And yeah, and you are all then kind of summoned back downstairs to do who knows what. And that is where I'm going to end.
All right. We're here.
It didn't go
Just
horribly.
laughing at